Hi, I'm Brett. Today we've got a video update on a really good, reliable old car. And remember, the GC8 WRX, whether it's a sedan or a hatch like this particular model, or an auto or a manual, back in 1999 were one of the very first cars that we could tune in a custom way, the factory ECU with no other external devices. And these cars now are approaching over 15, 16 years old, but here in Australia there's still a reliable, low-cost, high-performance four-wheel drive car with the trusty 2-litre Subaru flat-4 engine. And what we're going to talk about today are what you shouldn't do when it comes to modifying your car with the right parts. And what I've got in my hand here, this particular car we did some work on quite a long time ago. The customer hasn't been back here for over 10 years because he doesn't drive the car very much, but someone convinced him to do a cold air intake modification. So he's effectively fitted this highly restrictive, very, very small air intake and the adapter to fit it onto the original factory airflow meter housing, which has the sensor in here that measures the air going into the engine, and we'll talk about that in a sec. So effectively this part goes onto here and it replaces the original factory airbox. Now, one of the horrible things that he didn't realise is when his friends fitted it, as you can see here, the diameter of this adapter, if I turn it around, is no way near the same size as the intake that the air is designed to draw the air through. And if you look right down the bottom, you can see the step. Now, I don't know whether it shows up on the video, but I'll get a still photo to show you. And inside here at the same time, you can see the sensor, which is a calibrated fitting to measure the air going through here into the engine. And this calibrated airflow meter sensor is designed to measure the air as a percentage of the total volume of the overall tube. But of course, when you fit a restriction like this, not only does it, it's like putting your hand over the intake and restrict the air intake under high performance when the car's under a heavy load, but also the fact that it's going from a dramatic step into from a small down to a large diameter, it changes the air going past the sensor, and then it also has a big effect on the disturbed air because this sensor is calibrated assuming the air is all going through in a linear fashion. So of course, if the disturbed air is going past this sensor in the wrong way, the sensor gets a wrong signal, the ECU gets a wrong signal, and then it's catastrophic results when it comes to these engines, because that's the #1 cause of big end bearing failure on these engines, because what it does is it causes the car to ping, run the wrong amount of ignition control, and then the knock sensor, which is in the engine on this particular car, can't pull enough ignition timing out of the operating system of the car. The engine pings, it detonates, causes piston damage, but the #1 thing it does cause eventually over a period of time is big end bearing failure. And everybody says, oh, they're horrible engines, they have bearing failure, when in actually a good reason why is poor modifications like this. So what he should have done was stick with a factory airbox, because on this particular model car, the most reliable air intake on a 99 2000 model WRX is the factory airbox. There is no power to be gained, no improvement to be made other than noise and looks, because this airbox can fly more air than what the factory standard engine can consume unless you do a big performance upgrade on the engine with massive turbo, pistons, rods and things like that. So if you've got this particular model car, you may have done an exhaust system, you may have done an air intake, an intercooler, you may even change the turbo, which this client has. Stick with a factory standard airbox. The last thing I want to touch on, and I'll get my cameraman to get up close here, this airflow meter sensor which we spoke about here, which is the one inside here. Typically we recommend you should replace them every year, and if you want to know whether it's a new or old one, have a look at this white writing. So see how this got really nice clean new white writing on the side of the sensor, and his old one is similar. Pretty good chance that sensor's not too old, but at least if it's more than a year old, for the sake of $200 or $300, this sensor can save you an engine rebuild. So there you have it, some really good tips on how you can improve the performance on this car. Remember, with our tuning software, we can adjust the factory ECU with no other modifications. We'll just finish it on the dyno. Even in automatic mode, this car will still run up around 160, 170 kilowatts on our dyno. Make the car fun to drive, and #1, it'll make it nice and reliable for hopefully another 10 years, because we've got some cars here that are approaching well over 300,000 kilometres with original engine and drivetrain and original turbo. So there you have it. A little bit more info to look after your car. You can follow us on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter. I really hope this has helped you no matter where you are in the world. For more information, keep in touch with us. But for today, I'm Brett Middleton. Thanks for watching.